So the battle so far going back and forth, my opponent really burned my natural expansion to the ground, so that's definitely a setback for me. Luckily, I've got a second expansion up here, and I'm just starting to saturate it right now. And another Overlord goes down. Not sure what that Overlord was doing out there. But my opponent's choice of units here are really, really effective against those light Zerglings and drones. And Marines aren't half bad against Mutalisks. On top of that, the missile turrets aren't coming up right now, so my Mutalisks aren't really going to be able to do much more economic damage. And this could be bad for me. Trying to go in and do some Muta Micro, but keep in mind that in StarCraft 2, Mutalisk Micro is much more difficult to perform compared to Brood War. As you guys can see, the Infestation Pit coming up here, which allows me to tech to Hive, and also allows me to get Infestors, which are basically the new Defilers. And in case you guys don't know what that is, the Overlord is pretty much pooping creep onto the ground, which helps to expand the creep a little bit. Meanwhile, my opponent here has found this expansion. He's moving in with Hellions, and my drones gotta get out of there. Oh no, they're burning down. I'm trying to micro the drones away and split them off into 2 groups so that I can save some of the drones at least. So I do save about 4 or 5 of them. And my Mutalisks finally get in there, but these Hellions are so fast, and they're really, really strong once they get upgraded against workers. They just go in there 4 or 5, and they can take out huge groups of workers without much problem at all. And here we go, trying to do some more harass, but he's just got turrets and Marines everywhere all over his base, so this is very, very difficult for me. I'm not sure what these 4 drones are doing, just chilling behind the rock, and they're kind of hidden, so I can't really see them. Meanwhile, also getting my natural repopulated. I got to get that drone back to work too. So the opponent's harassing me so far has really thrown me off my game. I am getting 2 more Spine Crawlers here to help defend against the Hellion push, but he's also coming in with Marines, so I've got to defend against this Mutas versus Marines here. And unfortunately, the Marines are very, very powerful against the Mutalisks. And my Mutalisks got to get out of there, so not very good for me right there. And I might just lose my second natural, so I'm definitely getting set back right now. Meanwhile, back at base, the Hive is researching, so I might try to get some Hive Tech units this game, guys. And I gotta try to get whatever drones I can out of there, seeing as the Spine Crawler has fallen. There are Hellions there too, so this expansion now goes down. My opponent now has basically taken out 2 of my naturals, hugely setting back any Zerg player. And you guys can see that I've actually got lots and lots of gas, not too much in terms of minerals, and actually all of my queens have gone down. I've really got to get some new queens out and about right now. And you guys can see 1 queen is coming out, but the lack of queens means you don't have much larvae to build more units. And you guys can see that my 3 o'clock position has now gone down, so things are going from bad to worse for me. And now I'm just reduced to producing Zerglings. I don't have much more Mutalisks, only 2 as you guys can see. And I am going to try to do some damage here with these Zerglings. I'm going to try to run them in. But my opponent has got a lot of forces at his base right now. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do much damage, if that. Going straight for the mineral line here. And my opponent, luckily for me, has not tried to grab a natural. So his minerals are starting to run thin, extremely thin, and he doesn't have much more resources or income. He doesn't grab another expansion soon. Meanwhile, looks like Hive Tech is out. I've switched my technology now to Hydras to deal with the Hellions. I've also got Corruptors out as well, and you guys can see that the Spire is morphing into a Greater Spire. And there is the Greater Spire, really crazy looking thing, and it allows my Corruptors to morph into the Broodlords. So here we go, some high-tech tier 3 units coming out right here. The Broodlord is essentially the replacement for the Guardian, and it is an extremely powerful air siege unit. And we'll see if how powerful it's going to be against this huge Marine and Hellion army. And the first Broodlord is out. You guys can see those 2 flying things in the air right on the tail of the Broodlord. Those are basically what the Broodlord fires when he attacks, and it does a good 25 damage when it lands, as well as spawning a broodling. Basically, those little flying things become a broodling on the ground, which continue to do more damage. They last for about 5 seconds, I believe. And I've got more broodlords morphing in these cocoons as my opponent moves in with these marines and hellions to try once again to harass me. And here we go. This is going to be the battle to determine the game. And my broodlord's going straight to work on the marines. The marines fire at the broodlings that fall on the ground, which means they're distracted and can't hit the real threat in the air. Meanwhile, all my drones either dying or maybe I got them out of there, I'm not sure, but at the meantime, these broodlords are doing tons of damage. They don't last very long, the broodlings, but they get the job done, especially right when they land. They do a good 20-something damage, 25. And that entire force gets demolished. All this blood on the ground, the broodlings popping as their lifetime expires. But the broodlords surprising my opponent. My opponent did not expect these huge, massive mammoth walkers floating in the air, just doing tons of damage. These guys are dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. And they are tough to get up to, and my opponent is saying, what the heck are those? So completely catching him by surprise. But these broodlords are very hard to get to. You have to get to Hive, you have to upgrade your Spire to a greater Spire, and you have to morph them from Corruptors. But when they come out, they absolutely demolish Terran armies. They demolish the ground. And here we go. Look how fast they take down those buildings. And the missile turrets are not in range to shoot these. The broodlords have 8, 9 range. So they are super long-ranged units. The broodlings do a measly 4 damage, but that is not the main source of the damage. It's right when the broodlords attack. Their 25 damage is what really hurts. The broodlings only serve to be distractions, as you guys can see here. And my opponent's base is getting razed right now. All his buildings have been leveled from the main onward, and I'm continuing to push in with these broodlords. And my opponent's only anti-air right now are the marines, but there is not much that marines can do against these tier 3 units. These are the ultimate in air-to-ground siege fire. Meanwhile, back in my base, I am getting my 3rd expansion as well. But it doesn't seem like it'll matter at all. My opponent does have a natural over here, but my opponent announces GG as he realizes that all of his buildings have been taken down by the broodlord. And he did not know those things existed. And I have to admit that these units really will catch your opponent by surprise if they come out, if you can get them out. This is just an awesome sight watching these broodlords completely demolish the base. It is really awesome to use these units, and it's unfortunate that they're so hard to get to in the tech tree. But if you can get them out, as you guys saw in this game, they can really turn the battle around in your favor and pretty much end it. Because they completely demolished the Marine ball, forcing the Marines to really, the AI tells them to attack the broodlings first, which makes them so deadly. And there's really not much my opponent can do here. He's lost entire main. Missile turrets are ineffective against the broodlord because the broodlord has longer range than the missile turret even. But yeah, this game is over. My opponent has announced GG. That command center went down almost 5 seconds. Wow, so much damage. But I hope you guys enjoyed that game. And there is some tier 3 units, and that is how they fit into StarCraft 2. As you guys can see, I rushed the tech really, getting Hive as quickly as I could. And that did make me very vulnerable to that Hellion Marine rush. But luckily for me, I got the broodlords out in the nick of time with the game. That is GG, guys. My opponent leaves the game, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Game 17, Starcraft, signing out.